Hey BookTube, how's it going? Um, I'm going to give a Pentathon update. I have finished my Edgar Rice Burroughs bit in the Pentathon. There's a possibility someone's pulling up my driveway now. Maybe, maybe not. So, today I finished Edgar Rice Burroughs' Lost on Venus, which is the second Venus book. And because I kind of burned through this, it was action-packed. I went and finished Tarzan and the Ant-Men. And Zoe is home. So we will start this in a second. And I'm back! In the few milliseconds that I've been gone, Zoe got home and I took a shower. That is called multitasking, people. Yes. So, Pentathon. The thon of the penta. I actually don't remember where I was, so we'll do this again. For the Edgar Rice Burroughs bit, I finished Lost on Venus because it just was non-stop, and it just kept going and jamming and going, and I finished Tarzan and the Ant-Men. So, I Burrowsed twice, and I'm still here. We're all still here, people. So, which one to talk about first?
I thought you were supposed to read a different one each weekend.
This weekend is Edgar Rice Burroughs.
Oh, but I thought Tarzan was another topic.
No.
Okay. Obviously not paying enough attention.
Yeah, it's Edgar Rice Burroughs, H.P. Lovecraft, Robert E. Howard, hard-boiled or noir, and comics.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
As you were.
Thank you. She's eating chips. Loudly.
Have you
Actually, I mean, I can hear you. But to be fair, if it's really loud, it's probably Fred. He's an extremely loud chip eater. Okay, so we'll start with Tarzan. This book was actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And the reason why is because if you've been keeping up with my channel, you'll know that I've been trying to read this book for the last 5 months or something like that. But what happens is I end up putting it down in a pile somewhere of books, and I forget that I'm reading it. And I'll start reading something else. Now, this starts off right where the one before this, right where it ends. So that's the Golden Lion. And we have Esteban, the Tarzan impersonator, who is basically, as the book goes, is just getting crazier and crazier. He's not in it as much as Tarzan, but he is in it. He kidnaps a princess of a cannibal tribe and escapes. Tarzan, on the other hand, back home with his family, decides he's going to go fly his plane. He flies his plane and crashes.
Tarzan can fly a plane?
Of course he can.
Wow.
He's he comes from money.
Oh. I thought he was brought up by wolves.
By apes.
Oh.
Jesus Christ. By wolves?
Yeah. That's
Pe-
the Jungle
people
Book.
are gonna. That's people are gonna start thinking we're scripting these videos, babe.
We're really not.
Um.
I'm just an idiot.
So anyway, he crashes, and we have a there's like a race of these like giant like not beast, but just like badass chicks.
Yeah.
Like they're almost like Amazon chicks, but they're like a cross between like an Amazon chick and the Incredible Hulk kind of thing, ish, we'll say. And then there's this race of little tiny people that are males called, like in translation, the Ant-Men. Now, the thing with this book that I almost feel like Edgar Rice Burroughs was just like fucking with me and fucking with the people who were reading it
Sorry.
is
That wasn't anything to do with me.
I know, babes. Knock it off.
Me.
Okay. Yes, back to Edgar Rice Burroughs fucking with me. There are words in this book that are so ridiculously long that I honestly cannot pronounce them. And it kept like stopping me as I was reading. So I just have a page at random that I put together when I started the video before, and I'm just going to go through and try to find some. So, Zoranthorahago, Zertalahalakalo, Trohand Dalamuskian. Okay, I said that word before. Oh, Elkomolihago, Thagosodo. That's not that bad.
Are these names of people?
These are names of people, names of tribes. Gopholasso. Velto Pismuscus. Now, this is just like 2 pages here. Okay? This whole fucking book is filled with words that I don't know. Komodo Florensol. It's full of words I can't say, and they're everywhere. And every time I would come to them, I have to like slow down. And so then I started like coming up with like fake names, like nicknames. So like the Komodo Florensol was just Como. And then I got confused later because I forgot that I was calling him Como, and then I got confused and I had to go back a couple pages. So this was kind of tricky. But it was really, really good. Tarzan gets turned into one of the Ant-Men. There's like this whole, I don't want to call it a subplot, but like this whole bit with like a locket he had that like plays throughout this. It's just like really well done, and it's very action packed, but at the same time there are chunks of this book, like pages at a time, where they'll start describing a structure in horrifically great detail, or the philosophy of a certain type of people, or what's a good example? Like the history of a race. And this is something Burroughs does. I mean, like going back to Princess of Mars, he did this. But in here, and I don't know if it's just because the words were so long and the names were so long, it like kind of hurt. It was kind of painful. Um, and that's the only reason why this isn't like a perfect 5-star read. Everything in here was great, except like I think he needs to go back to like the River Is, like really simple shit, because this is getting fucking ridiculous. Especially since one of the tribes of people in this book can't speak and they just do like grunts. Like, why the fuck is there 12 syllable words?
Or why is Kids in the Sun there?
Yeah, because is that door open?
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's talk about Lost on Venus. Again, this takes place right where Pirates of Venus left off. And this I liked better. And the reason is, actually, now that I think about it, it kind of sounds really tacky that I like it better. But it's like, in the first book, the Pirates of Venus, obviously, were going to be on boats. It took us a while to get there, but once we got there, we were on ships and we were in the ocean and there was swashbuckling and shit like that, which was cool and different for a Burroughs book, at least the ones that I've read. But this one, like, it kind of goes back to a lot of the other tropes, I guess, where people are stranded or captured somewhere and they have to get from point A to point B, and along the way they are going to get into all sorts of trouble and hijinks. And that really kind of sits well with me, I think. I don't know if it's just like a comfort or what, but it's nice. I really enjoy it. The first big thing in this book is probably one of the most awesome things. It's the room with 7 doors. It's this way that the people of what is it, New Bowl? It's the way they kind of execute their prisoners. And basically, there's 7 doors. You're in a round room, 7 doors. Every door has like a different trap in it. Like, it leads into a hallway. The door will shut behind you and you won't be able to open it again. Each door has a different kind of trap or whatever. Inside the room is a table with food and drink, and above the table is a noose. And then there's like a couch and a chair, but when you get up close to the couch and chair, you realize that there's all of these really long needles coming out of it. So if you were to sit in the chair or on the couch, you would like be in a lot of pain. You don't know if the food or the drink is poisoned. He ends up laying down on the floor because obviously Carson is in this room now since he got spoiler captured in the last book. And as he's laying on the floor, all of these different sized the Venus equivalent of snakes and pythons and shit come crawling out over him. So it's like the most fucked situation in the world. And they have the noose there in case you're so indecisive you can't figure out what to do. So you could like fucking hang yourself. But one of the doors leads to freedom. And when the thing starts, they point to the doors and they're like, this door leads to freedom, this door leads to spikes, this is gas, this is acid, this is a giant monster, this one the walls close in on you, blah 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 blah. And so he's like, okay, cool. So all I have to do is like run to the thing. But as soon as they're done talking, the room starts spinning. Like the floor spins, so he can't like decide which door is the right door. So that whole bit was like so exciting. Like it was just kaboom, 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 kaboom. Like so much stuff was happening, and it was so like just fun. Although I will say this, I have a question, and if any of you could answer this question for me, I would be. I don't want to say forever in your debt. I would just really appreciate it. So, while the bad guy is telling Carson how fucked he is, he says to him, hang on, I gotta find it. Aha. All within this room is yours to do with you as you please during your last hours on Earth. They're on Venus. And Earth is lowercase Earth, so do they just mean like terra firma kind of thing? But if that's the case and they're from Venus, would they even, and they don't know that there's any other planets outside of their atmosphere, there's nowhere else, is what they think. They think the clouds that are constantly covering Venus are flames, and there's nowhere to go. So why would there be this during your last hours on Earth? Like, why would that be there? And Edgar Rice Burroughs was such a nut for pseudoscience and weird little facts and over explaining everything. I don't know how a mistake like that could be in here. Gizmo, knock it off. Thanks, babes. He needs a banky. Cause him can't figure it out. Okay, so that's my question. If they're on Venus, why do they say Earth? So that's that. The book is full of action again. One thing that shocked me, because like he rescues the girl that he's in love with, and there's all of this like action, action, action. Oh, let's talk about how much I love you. Hey, eat shit, buddy. I'm a princess. You can't talk to me like that. Action, 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 action. So there's all that stuff. And so you would assume in typical Burroughs fashion that it would continue like that. But they get separated, and he ends up rescuing this other chick who also happens to be a princess from another tribe. And so a big chunk of the book is with him and her, and it's like I didn't see that coming. And then you have like the like typical bad communication. So the chick he's really in love with thinks he's in love with the other princess, and so she's mad and doesn't trust him anymore, and this person's mad at that person. So it's like that whole thing. So it comes back to a familiar Burroughs trope, I guess. So anyway, but because of like the more I think about it, the more I want to give it like 5 stars on Goodreads instead of 4. But I need to reel myself in, because I star rate too high right after I finish something. I need to let it sink in a bit. So anyway, so that is weekend 1 of the Pentathon. Next weekend will be H.P. Lovecraft. If you were able to grab any Burroughs books this weekend, I would love to hear what you read. And even if you want to switch it up, if you want to do Burroughs in 2 weeks and then just do something a little more short story-ish this weekend, that's fine too. So anyway, okay, bye.